For 20 years, I've been searching for Queen Cleopatra. I will discover the tomb of Queen Cleopatra.
Buried 40 feet beneath the Mediterranean Sea, archaeologists may have just stumbled onto a forgotten harbour that could finally unlock Cleopatra's long-lost tomb.
What if Cleopatra was buried somewhere else entirely?
This shocking discovery, quietly confirmed by Egypt's Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities, has experts losing sleep. Why? Because the structures they found underwater don't just look ancient, they line up with a mysterious 4,000-foot tunnel leading straight under the ruins of Taposiris Magna. And that's where things get interesting. If this actually leads to her tomb, history is about to change forever. So don't even blink. Let's find out.
The discovery of Cleopatra's tomb is undeniably one of the most thrilling and mysterious achievements in archaeology.
Cleopatra's legacy and the enduring mystery. Cleopatra VII Philopator is still spoken of as one of the most captivating figures in world history, and her name continues to echo across time because her life seemed larger than legend. Yet the mystery surrounding her final resting place remains unsolved, even after centuries of searching. Archaeologists have pored over manuscripts, studied ancient maps, and excavated countless sites, only to discover that she has hidden her tomb from history in a way that feels almost intentional. Many historians have remarked that the search for her burial place is not merely about finding ancient treasure. It is about uncovering the final puzzle piece to a story that reshaped an entire era. Would discovering where she was laid to rest not change everything we believe about Egypt's last independent dynasty? The quest, in many ways, is about rewriting what the world thinks it knows about Cleopatra, her legacy, and the cultural world she embodied. She reportedly ascended to the throne in 51 BCE at just 18 years old, ruling at first with her younger brother Ptolemy XIII, in accordance with Ptolemaic tradition. Unlike earlier rulers in her dynasty, who often remained somewhat detached from the Egyptian identity and language, Cleopatra embraced the culture around her wholeheartedly. Reports describe her as the first in her dynasty to learn and speak the Egyptian language fluently, and she encouraged religious rituals that connected her closely with the Egyptian people. Scholars have often wondered how an 18-year-old managed such enormous responsibility during a time of intense political instability. And perhaps the most intriguing question is this: could Cleopatra's final resting place really be hiding secrets we've never imagined? Despite the looming shadow of Rome's unstoppable power, Cleopatra appeared relentless, working tirelessly to restore Egypt to greatness and protect its independence. Every decision, every alliance, every daring move she made was part of a story that has captivated historians for centuries. Now, new discoveries suggest we may be standing on the edge of rewriting that history. Could this be Cleopatra's hidden tomb? The implications are enormous, and the evidence is as fascinating as it is mysterious. Stick with me till the very end. You won't want to miss a single revelation. Cleopatra's strategy was always deliberate, calculated, and rooted in diplomacy. Historians often recall how she presented herself not simply as a monarch, but as a living goddess, embodying Isis, the mother, the healer, the protector of Egypt. Her portrayal as Isis reportedly served as a symbolic message of stability and unity in a period marked by political tension and external pressure. Was this not a brilliant way to maintain loyalty and faith among her subjects? During her 21-year reign, Cleopatra secured economic prosperity, protected crucial trade routes, and strengthened Egypt's presence on the international stage. Yet the shadow of Rome loomed ever larger, and maintaining sovereignty demanded alliances of immense complexity. Her political alliances with Julius Caesar and later Mark Antony form some of the most dramatic chapters in ancient history. When conflict arose between Cleopatra and her brother, she famously arranged to be smuggled into Caesar's quarters, wrapped inside what Roman sources described as a carpet. Historians still marvel at the boldness of this gesture. Was it desperation, courage, or strategic genius? After gaining Caesar's support, she reclaimed her throne and secured Egypt's future, at least for a time. Their relationship produced a son, Caesarion, whom Cleopatra believed would one day unite the power of Egypt and Rome. Following Caesar's assassination, Cleopatra forged a new alliance with Mark Antony, which blended political ambition with a partnership many described as deeply affectionate and personal. Together, they worked to strengthen Egypt's regional power, culminating in what historians call the Donations of Alexandria, where Antony granted territories to Cleopatra and her children in a dramatic political ceremony. This move, however, infuriated Octavian, Caesar's adopted heir. Roman propaganda soon painted Cleopatra as a manipulator, calling her a foreign seductress who had supposedly enchanted Antony to betray Rome. Ancient sources claimed she threatened Rome itself, even though many scholars today argue that such depictions were exaggerated for political purposes. Their defeat at the Battle of Actium in 31 BCE sealed their fate, and rather than face humiliation or execution, both Antony and Cleopatra reportedly chose death. Today, historians believe Cleopatra's tomb holds answers to some of the most important unresolved questions about her life, identity, and era. Finding her burial site could reveal how she wished to be remembered, not through the words of Roman chroniclers, who viewed her as an enemy, but through her own cultural lens. Experts suggest that such a discovery would provide unprecedented insight into the final phase of Egypt's pharaonic history and the merging of Greek and Egyptian traditions. Would her tomb contain artifacts bridging the worlds of Alexandria and ancient Thebes? Could there be texts or inscriptions revealing her personal beliefs, her political strategies, or her dreams for Egypt's future? Scholars have long argued that Cleopatra deliberately shaped a dual identity, Greek by heritage, Egyptian by culture, symbolic in divine association. It is believed that her final burial site would reflect that fusion of civilizations, showing the world how she viewed herself at the end of her life. Archaeologists speculate that locating the tomb could also correct misconceptions fueled by Roman narratives, which portrayed her primarily through the lens of scandal, romance, and seduction rather than leadership, intellect, and diplomacy. Many have wondered what Cleopatra herself would say if her own writings were discovered. Would her voice finally rise above centuries of misrepresentation? And perhaps the most intriguing question of all lingers in the mind like a whisper across time. If the tomb of Egypt's last pharaoh is finally uncovered, what would it reveal? Could it transform everything we thought we knew about Cleopatra? And not just her, but the entire ancient world that vanished with her, leaving only fragments of stories, coins, and whispers in history. This isn't just a hunt for treasure or relics. It's a journey into the very heart of a civilization long gone. And the path that led to this discovery is as fascinating as the mystery itself, beginning with a sunken port that has kept its secrets for centuries. Stay glued till the very end. You won't want to miss a single detail. The search that led to a sunken port. The quest for one of archaeology's greatest discoveries reportedly began with a figure no one expected, a Dominican Republic-born criminal lawyer named Kathleen Martinez, who left her legal career behind and dedicated the last 20 years of her life to a single mission, finding the final resting place of Cleopatra, the last queen of Egypt. Friends reportedly said she approached the mystery as if it were a crime scene, studying motive, opportunity, geography, and history with the same intensity she once applied to legal cases. While most archaeologists remained convinced that Cleopatra would have been buried somewhere in Alexandria, Martinez began asking a different question. If Cleopatra knew her death was imminent, where would she have chosen to be laid to rest? Her fascination reportedly began after reading Shakespeare's play about the tragic queen, and from there, her conviction deepened. According to her, she examined 21 temple sites before narrowing her focus to Taposiris Magna, a temple complex nearly 30 miles west of Alexandria. She explained that her breakthrough came after reading ancient texts describing the final hours of Cleopatra's life. "I realized it was the beginning of a religious act that ended up with her being buried in a temple," she reportedly said, reflecting on Cleopatra's devotion to the goddess Isis and the symbolism of death intertwined with divine rebirth. Was she following historical fact or intuition? In 2004, Martinez sought and obtained permission to excavate at Taposiris Magna, despite the fact that previous archaeological teams had walked away empty-handed, convinced nothing significant remained beneath the site. Yet she insisted there was more waiting to be uncovered beneath the sand. Her persistence paid off in 2022, when her team reportedly made a discovery unlike anything documented before at the site. Beneath the temple ruins, roughly 43 feet underground, archaeologists uncovered an astonishing tunnel carved directly into the solid rock. The passage was described by the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities as a geometric miracle, stretching an extraordinary 4,300 feet in length and standing approximately 6.5 feet high. What purpose could a tunnel like that have served? Observers noted that parts of the tunnel were submerged in seawater, likely as a result of major earthquakes that struck the region between the 4th century and early 14th century. Within the passage, researchers found ceramic jars and pottery dating back to the Ptolemaic era, the very dynasty Cleopatra ruled during. It reportedly suggested that this underground system was not only engineered, but actively used thousands of years ago. The remarkably engineered construction raised another question. Who designed a tunnel of that scale beneath a temple, and what was its purpose? The most curious detail came when Martinez noticed the direction in which the tunnel was heading. The passage runs straight toward the Mediterranean coast, almost like a hidden corridor guiding toward the sea. This discovery prompted her to contact famed oceanographer Robert Ballard, known worldwide for discovering the wreck of the Titanic. According to reports, she believed that the tunnel might have once connected the temple to a sacred port. Together with Ballard's oceanographic team, researchers employed sonar mapping technologies to examine the seafloor just offshore from the temple. The scans revealed what appears to be the remains of an ancient inland harbour, now sunken beneath centuries of sediment and coral. Excavation data suggested the harbour was active during Cleopatra's reign, which strengthened the possibility that the tunnel and port were once part of a single complex religious and political ritual environment. Could it be that Cleopatra's burial involved a ceremonial journey, moving her body through the temple grounds, down the hidden passage, across the harbour, and to a secret sanctuary beyond Roman reach? Martinez argued that Cleopatra would have wanted her tomb concealed in a sacred place dedicated to Isis, somewhere the Romans could neither desecrate nor exploit. Observers noted that her theory seemed bold, even controversial. Yet every new discovery appeared to point further away from Alexandria and deeper into the mysteries buried beneath Taposiris Magna. And perhaps the most intriguing question of all is this: could the world really be standing on the edge of one of archaeology's most astonishing breakthroughs, centuries after the Queen's death? All of it guided by someone who never trained as an archaeologist, yet refused to ignore her instincts, trusting a hunch that others would have dismissed. Every dive, every artifact recovered from the depths of the sunken port brought her closer to answers, and yet the mystery only grew bigger with each discovery. From hidden tunnels to clues lost beneath centuries of sediment, the journey is as breathtaking as it is baffling. Stick around and watch till the very end, because what she uncovered will completely redefine history inside the underwater discovery. Marine archaeologists have reportedly unveiled a breathtaking underwater world off Egypt's northern coast, a discovery many believe could finally lead to Cleopatra's long-lost resting place, something historians have searched for over centuries, yet never confirmed. According to those involved, the submerged structures lie roughly 40 feet beneath the Mediterranean's shifting waves, preserved in extraordinary condition despite thousands of years of tides, storms, and coastal earthquakes. Oceanographer Bob Ballard, renowned for discovering the Titanic, joined archaeologist Kathleen Martinez and her team as they carefully mapped the seafloor using advanced sonar technology. Witnesses said the scans covered nearly 6 miles of underwater terrain, slowly revealing a sprawling network of massive constructions arranged in orderly rows, some reportedly standing more than 20 feet high. It was as though the sea had gently folded an entire ancient city into its depths. Among the formations, the team identified a mysterious structure they nicknamed Salam 5, which appeared as tall, flat, rectangular stone shapes, while another striking layout nearby, called the Three Sisters, consisted of 3 prominent vertical pillars standing side by side. Could these structures really have formed part of Cleopatra's final sanctuary, hidden for centuries beneath the waves? The findings became even more dramatic when divers recovered a wide array of artifacts scattered across the seabed. They discovered clusters of stone and metal anchors resting near coral reefs that once shielded an ancient port, as if ships had dropped them and never returned. Scattered across the sediment were fragments of amphorae, those classic clay containers used for transporting wine, oil, and grain, dated firmly to the Ptolemaic era, aligning perfectly with Cleopatra's reign. Even more astonishing were the wide, polished stone floors still preserved by the sands of time, alongside cement blocks and solid architectural fragments that once formed grand walkways, porticos, or ceremonial passages. Experts reportedly believe these items offer a striking glimpse into a harbour that was once alive with ships, trade, and ritual. Bathymetric studies produced highly detailed outlines of the harbour's original layout, confirming to researchers that the submerged port had been directly connected to Cleopatra's temple at Taposiris Magna on land. In simple terms, this ancient harbour was not an isolated structure. It was part of a grand, integrated network that stretched from temple to tunnel to sea. Archaeologists explained that the ancient shoreline has shifted dramatically since Cleopatra's lifetime, and that the original coast lies almost 2.5 miles inland from where the sea meets the sand today. Could centuries of earthquakes, tidal waves, and coastal collapses have dragged Cleopatra's final sanctuary underwater? According to the research team, the harbour's strategic location, shielded by natural coral reefs, reveals just how vital this port must have been during Cleopatra's final years, a place where political negotiations unfolded, secret messages travelled, and sacred rites were performed. Researchers reportedly commented that every polished floor tile, every anchor, every amphora fragment reinforces the idea that this was a thriving port at the heart of Cleopatra's kingdom, possibly connected to the final chapter of her life. And perhaps the most intriguing question is this: with every dive into the depths, with every meticulous scan, and with each fragment recovered, one thought keeps resurfacing, growing stronger and more insistent than ever. Could the remains of Egypt's last queen, Cleopatra herself, still lie hidden somewhere beneath those quiet Mediterranean waves, waiting silently to be discovered? Imagine the centuries of secrets locked away under the water, untouched, as if the sea itself has been guarding her for eternity. Every clue we uncover only deepens the mystery, and the implications could rewrite history as we know it. Stick with me until the very end, because what comes next might completely blow your mind. Could this be Cleopatra's hidden tomb? The debate over Cleopatra's final resting place reportedly intensified with remarkable discoveries at Taposiris Magna, sparking renewed interest among historians and archaeologists alike, and prompting many to ask whether a hidden tomb might rewrite long-held assumptions about Egypt's last Ptolemaic ruler. Evidence supporting Martinez's theory has been described as compelling, particularly the numerous coins bearing Cleopatra's image that were found within the temple complex, coins that appeared to confirm the site's connection to her reign. Observers also pointed out that the underwater harbour aligns almost perfectly with a temple tunnel, suggesting what some call an elaborate transportation route that could have been designed specifically for a royal burial, raising the question, would such planning really have been necessary if the temple held only ordinary artifacts? The temple's dedication to Osiris further fueled speculation, given that Cleopatra identified herself with Isis, Osiris's wife, a symbolic association that could hint at her final resting place. Yet, skepticism remained strong among many Egyptologists, with traditional scholars arguing that Cleopatra was more likely buried in Alexandria, close to her palace and the political heart of her kingdom. Critics emphasize that, despite extensive excavation, no definitive royal burial artifacts had yet been recovered at Taposiris Magna, and questioned whether someone of her status would have been interred so far from the capital. The debate, it seemed, hinged on what could still be proven. Archaeologists first need to locate actual burial chambers or royal sarcophagi to make any definitive claims. Then DNA analysis could confirm if any discovered remains belonged to Cleopatra herself, and hieroglyphic inscriptions directly linking the site to her would strengthen Martinez's case significantly. Modern technology, however, could change the game entirely, with advanced ground-penetrating radar capable of revealing hidden chambers beneath the temple without disturbing centuries-old structures, while underwater remotely operated vehicles equipped with sensitive sensors might detect anomalies in the submerged harbour area, potentially uncovering sealed chambers that have survived looting and decay for millennia. Could these tools finally solve one of history's most enduring mysteries? Or will Cleopatra's tomb remain lost to time, continuing to provoke speculation, debate and fascination among scholars and the public alike? Someday, we'll have the answers, and those answers seem to be closer than we think. With this, we have come to the end of this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, do well to like, comment and subscribe for more content. To enjoy more thrilling stories, click now on the following video that pops up on your screen.